MEC, thank you so much for coming through. MEC Tembeni Ngangisa, who is Free State MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. So MEC, I've been talking about how, you know, you can spin it all you want. Minister Lindiwe Sisulu was asked about this yesterday. She gave an answer and said it has nothing to do with the death of the child, the 8-year-old child. But at this point, it really looks like it is related to that, because you and I know this is not a new problem. Communities here have been raising it at the very least since 2015. Why did it have to take the death of a child for you to respond as government?
No, thank you very, very much, and thanks for the opportunity. We pass our deepest condolences to the child. We're with the family. They welcomed us, and we are working with them to give a dignified burial to the child. But the other issue is the child died when the protest was in motion. Already plans were in motion. You would see the communication was already there. I spoke to the first group, which started to organize for the protest. We explained to them, and subsequently to that, they then withdrew and demobilized forces. The second group, when I learned that they are continuing, I spoke to them. The first time when I spoke to them, they then cut me off, and subsequently the phone went dead. And when I checked, they said they did not have a network. But the child died. It is inexcusable, and that we must apologize that it is as a result of not having water, because the kids went to fetch water from the small.
A result of not having water as a result of neglect and failure on the part of your government to deliver.
Yes, it's true. You have alluded that the problem dates back as 2015, when there was an intervention. The Department of Water and Sanitation did make a budget to improve the infrastructure, and part of the budget was then redirected to operation, and part of the budget was then returned back and given to Sidibeng Water to implement the first phase of the project of the Sterkfontein Dam. And I accept that the inefficiency of governance could have avoided all these things. We could have done things.
It's an understatement, MEC, to say inefficiency, because, I mean, I heard the whole story around drought. Drought is there. South Africa is a water-scarce country. No one disputes that. But the two dams that I referred to, Metsi Matsho and Sterkfontein, are full, almost to capacity. The third dam, Fika Patso, which supplies this area, has problems. It has leakages. The valves are leaking, and the communities have been pinpointing this to no avail.
No, it's true. The two dams are full. The weakness is that the system, the infrastructure, the scheme that is used to take water to the taps where people can get them are not linked. That's why if one dam fails, you are unable to connect to alleviate the problem to the other. What makes it more difficult is that Fika Patso is the biggest dam. It has got 36 megaliters supplied to the population, and then it provides 85% of the population with water. So that's why the problem is in this magnitude, is because it's the biggest dam and it has failed. The two dams, they have water, but they are not linked to alleviate the problem in the Fika Patso dam. Even independently, the two dams, if one of them has a problem, you are unable to link the systems. That's what is the biggest problem of the planning.
Because you're actually very close to the Lesotho Highlands water catchment area, which really underscores this whole irony, MEC, as I ask that you push up your microphone a little bit as you respond.
No, it's true. That's why the minister said we should invest more on the Sterkfontein Dam, increase its capacity. Already there was a program that has started to increase its capacity for extra 10 megaliters, and it was going to end in March next year. But the minister has again deployed 1.2 billion rands so that we increase the capacity at least to 60 megaliters. But the second part of that is to link the systems, take away the dependency to Fika Patso dam and link it to these other two dams, so that you don't have, when you have a problem like this magnitude of the problem.
Lastly, MEC, the whole situation around the tanks that are used to transport the water and supply it to communities, there have been many allegations of corruption there, and politicians almost using that as their own little kitty to really raise extra income for themselves. Why is it that you don't sort of seek to appease these communities by actually showing them that action will be taken and action is being taken? How far are the investigations around the allegations of corruption in this particular scheme? Because the fact that the minister said now government will take over this suggests that you are acknowledging that the system, as you've heard it all along, has been problematic, yet no one is being hauled before the right platforms.
I'm sure the department is going to do that. That's why the decision is that of the joint MINMEC throughout the country, take away the scheme from private hands and bring it back to government. It's not only the corruption that is alleged to the scheme. The other allegation is that these guys, when there's clear and sustainable water delivery, they then sabotage the infrastructure so that you go back to them and contract them again, so that you depend entirely to them. And that's why the idea that move away from privatizing it, because water is a life and water is a basic right.
Yeah.
So we must not fault our people, because you can't live without water.
All right, MEC, thank you so much for coming through and having this conversation with me. I'm out of time. I would have wanted to talk to you further about the state of the municipality itself. I mean, owing Eskom some 4 billion rand, unable to pay some of its service providers. That's the MEC of Cooperative Governance here in the Free State, Thembeni Ngqangisa, talking to me live here in Qwaqwa.